Welcome everyone to another exciting episode of The Tea with Pius and
Solo.
And today we want to respond to questions. You guys have been listening and we've gotten overwhelming comments and questions. We put them together here and we shall be going through each one of them. So your voice is important. So let's get down with it.
Awesome.
Can I start?
Yes.
You know, Solo, you always have a way to get to give me some earth-shattering questions. Let's see how hot we start. Okay, Solo. This is Wangeshi, and she's asking, how do you approach building and maintaining relationships with people who have different perspectives or life experiences than your own, and what you have learned from those experiences? I'll repeat, it's a long question, so let me repeat. How do you approach building and maintaining relationships with people who have different perspectives or life experiences than your own, and what have you learned from those experiences?
That's an awesome question. I think we dealt with some of this in season 1. Relationship building. So maybe Wangeshi missed season 1. And I would humbly suggest maybe she can go back and listen to that because we shared a lot.
Yes.
I think firstly it's with our approach. So it's, in terms of approach, it's with respect. Respect because they are a human being of intrinsic value, just like myself, even if they come with different perspectives. And those can be as extreme as you can imagine, sometimes even more. The only thing that's going to act as a glue to allow you to build a relationship, like the cement to the building blocks of that relationship, is values. It's what's going to allow you to even have a relationship. It's very difficult to build a relationship with someone with whom you don't share values. Whether they are as personal as sexual orientation or religious beliefs or faith backgrounds, to issues of human rights, sanctity of life. It's all over the place. So if you don't share values, it's very difficult. So my advice would be clear about your own values and focus on building relationships with people with whom you share values. And this cuts across all the way to investing. I'll give an example. We had a project fairly recently, started during COVID, and we hit a big snag with this project because there was a very high-ranking official in this county who demanded a significant bribe to grant us a permission we applied for, as is required by law. So we take on the view that corruption is a no-go zone because paying bribes is equal to witchcraft, as we discussed in the last episode. This is from the Christian perspective, and tutaki kuwa wachawi. So we don't pay bribes for anything ever. If we can't do it clean, we will not do it at all. We said no. They proceeded to frustrate us. We ended up in court suing the county for the permission that was due to us so that our project could continue. In the meantime, the group or entity that we borrowed money from for this project was getting understandably very concerned about the length of time this project was now delayed because of the court situation, because we were not paying a bribe. The specific amount was 2 million shillings that was being asked for. In the context of the project, that was not too bad. We had done pre-sales on this project, and for those who don't know what I'm talking about, I am Solomon Wangwe, Tunauzaga Prot. I am I'm the founder and one of the team members at Goshen Acquisitions and Grand Acres Limited. We are the best land sellers in this country. I can say that without any fear of contradiction. And also the most trusted. And if you doubt, just check out our website. I had to plug myself there. So, because of what we do, we had pre-sales. In this case, I think it was somewhere around 75 million shillings. It was oscillating between 65 and 100 million because people would pay deposits, delay making payments, others would pull out over that 2-year period in escrow account, meaning we can't touch the money until we complete the county processes, which are now stuck because we are going to court to sue the county for delaying. You get the picture. Now, our investor or lender at this point was like, Solomon, you've been in court for a year. The court keeps pushing the court case back 3 months. There's no end to this situation. Your interest is mounting on the money you borrowed. We want a return of our principal amount, plus the interest, plus a share of the profits on this project. When is this going to end? How can I answer? I have no idea. We're subject to the court schedule. How much is the county official asking for? 2 million bobs. And you said you have 65, 75 million shillings in escrow. It's like, yes. Like, dude, pay the stupid 2 million shillings and let's be done with this situation. Cost of business. At that point, we had a conflict of values. Yeah, and these are things you learn about yourself when the clock is ticking and money is on the line. You will learn very quickly exactly what it is you believe in, for real or not. And I had to be respectful and say, listen, I understand the pressure. I don't like the situation any more than you do. After all, I'm the one who's paying more interest and penalties and blah, blah, blah. I'm the one who's being frustrated. I feel the pain. I'm worried about our reputation because of our customers who are waiting with their money stuck in escrow because we can't close the deals. I mean, it's crazy pressure, but I will not pay a bribe. I don't do business that way. We don't live our personal lives that way. It's a desecration of my relationship with my creator. And of this gentleman was not a Christian. He was of a different faith. And so he was confronted with the fact that we have different values. And how are we going to navigate? And being aware of this, I said to them, listen, the reason you trusted us with your money in the first place is because you know this about us. We do things ethically. That is being challenged with this situation. Are we going to forsake our ethical stand for the sake of financial expedience? Are we that kind of people? Or are we going to stay the course and do this clean? And fortunately, he saw my point and he's like, okay, fine. Let's hope it resolves quickly. And it eventually did. Now, today I have a relationship with that person because even though we have different value systems, because they have no issue paying the bribe. For them, it's, money in, money out. 2 million, can the project afford? Yes. What's the issue? Just get it over and done with. Whereas for me, it's a no-go zone. He respected that. They respected that about us, and we have a prevailing relationship. Doesn't always go that way. Other people will implode, and it kills your relationship. So I think for me, it boils down to values more than anything else. Yeah.
Interesting. As you were sharing your story, I remembered I was working for Toyota, and there was this colleague of mine who we discovered that we had a common liking for personal development. So I was reading personal development books, they were reading personal development books, and then we were like, okay, let's exchange ideas. And some friendship started forming. And I remember I was born again. It was clear they were not really born again, but at some point when they invited me to their house, they asked me, what will you have? And I said, I want to have tea. Then they made tea for me, but then they went to the fridge, they came with Tusker. And they're like, this is, we are very different here, And I realized our friendship was having a ceiling here. But later on, they came to me and they told me, do you know what, Pius? I got born again. And you are the one who made me to get born again. I'm like, I never preached to you. I never said anything to you. Like, I watched your life and I said, I want a life like yours. Today they are a pastor. We have a very different relationship. When they come in a gathering like this, I am under them because they are the ones ministering to me. So what am I saying? We are an expression of God's love in this world. And God's love does not discriminate. Jesus loved Zacchaeus like he loved the disciples. But because of that love, there was a pulling factor that made Zacchaeus want to be close to him. And for us, we must always know who we are and be comfortable with who we are, not in our own definition, but who we are from the eyes of God. And once your identity is sure, then you don't get moved a lot or shifted around because of the relationships that you find yourself in. But if your identity is strong and founded in the one who created you, you will always find that people are attracted to you. And you can change people's characters. You can be a factor of a God, or rather God's agent to changing people's characters and personality and perspectives of life, just because they see certain value systems, as he has said. So don't give up on anyone, but just make sure that you remain grounded on who you are, and yeah, you can't be a friend to everybody. Not everybody is meant to be your best friend, but you can have very different degrees of relationships. Yeah, I just thought of adding that.
Yeah, well said. I'll move to the next question. All right. No name, but questions reads, I realized you all aren't active in your social media platforms, especially Instagram. Why? Do you think social media is a distraction to purposeful people who want to create wealth and achieve financial freedom?
Why do I feel like that was targeted to me?
Yeah.
I have a 24-year-old daughter that I've adopted, and one day we were just having a conversation, and she told me, you know what, Dad, Facebook is for old people and Instagram is for young people. It's the first time I had had anything like that, but I was shocked that if you're in Facebook, you're considered to be an old guard. And I looked around my friends and I realized, you know what? Actually, my friends are very active on Facebook and they're almost non-existent on Instagram. So there's probably an age factor that plays in. Honestly, I have struggled personally to engage on Instagram, because what I see in Instagram are, selfies, self videos. I just find it difficult to find Solo has posted a lot of selfies on himself, I'd have to call him. Are you sure you are? Everything is going on okay?
Yeah.
It's like there's a search for validation, external validation. So that was my initial perception. But increasingly, I've just, engaged because as a company, Instagram is one of our platforms. So I must have an account, or I consider it is important for me to have an account. So occasionally I would visit, and then increasingly I realized, wow, there's some very, very good content on Instagram. There are people who are doing really good business. I enjoy cooking. Cooking is one of my hobbies. So I love the the channels that I see there that are on food, such things. Our Nabo Instagram also is full of very good, educative content. It's not about selfie, it's about giving. It's not about receiving. And many others. So I have nothing against Instagram. Actually, I think it is us who need to really change our perspective on Instagram and use it correctly. Social media is not destructive if you use it for the right reason. So you need to have a clear objective. But if you go there just to browse and flip, you will waste a lot of hours, productive hours, and some of the good stuff that we are saying here you will never have time to implement. So those are my views.
Awesome. I mean, I would echo those. Same. Instagram is mostly active on the corporate platform, Goshen Acquisitions and Grand Acres by Goshen Acquisitions. I find very little utility in telling people where I'm having lunch, or honestly, for me, it's brain scramble. I don't understand that world at all. The motivation to do that. Why on earth would you want everyone knowing what you had for lunch, or which bathroom you visited and took a selfie in, or whatever? It's. Now, I'm not saying that to criticize people who do that. I'm just saying I don't understand that perspective. Yeah. Therefore, I can't engage that way. But obviously, for business, it makes sense. I mean, today, I'd say 80–90% of our customers find us on our Instagram and Facebook page and YouTube. All our customers reach us through the digital platform. So obviously, there's a ton of commercial value in being on Instagram or any other social media platform. So no, I wouldn't say it's a distraction to purposeful people. It's how you use it, like you said. Why are you doing it? How are you using it? I know there's been a lot of talk about people who need validation. I mean, I've seen some extreme situations, man. It's like, and maybe you guys can help me understand. Honestly, like Roho Safi, I'd be at a restaurant for business meetings, socializing with friends sometimes, or out with the family. There's one just down the road on the 21st floor of, I think, the second tallest building in Westlands at the moment. I won't mention them by name because they haven't paid us for advertising, but I think you all know which one it is. And I promise you, 90% of the time we're there, at least 20% of the guests are young people, usually ladies, dressed to the nines. Even their teeth are dressed, and it's daytime. Right? They're wearing evening wear. They come in, and they'll order a bottle of water and just take selfies all over the place, and then bounce. That stuff makes my brain scramble, honestly. Like, why present that image? I think there's a meaningful conversation to be had for this psychological health situation where people have this pressure to present a certain lifestyle that is not real. Or taking selfies of yourself next to a fancy car and sort of talking about it like it's yours. I see that all over social media. I've never understood why people feel like they should do that. Or people traveling and then posting the images 6 months later like they're there 6 months later. it's, I mean, do you guys understand where that's coming from? You need to educate some of us. Maybe we're too old, I don't know. And you know, I wouldn't even say I have advice because that would be presumptive. I just don't understand that rationale. So for us, it makes sense from a business perspective. You go to where the market is. Social media is the present and future.
Yeah.
You introduce AI into that now, we're having to shift things around. So absolutely, for money, all in. And that's all I have to say.
Wow. I mean, just to add a little bit on the social media, I think for me, I look at two things that happen in social media. It's either you're going for entertainment or you're going for education or productivity content. And I just find a lot of people are hooked to social media because they're looking for entertainment. And probably that's why my brother and I struggle with the selfie world, because it's all entertainment. If you seek entertainment, then you are on a trend that pays very little. There's almost nothing, no payoff. But if you're looking for productivity related content, then there is so much that you can benefit from the social media. So that's my advice to young people.
All right, thank you so much for tuning in. Those of you who are watching virtually, we really appreciate you taking time to listen in with the audience here. We are so grateful for the opportunity to share our experiences. Hopefully it adds value to your lives. We hope you'll continue to stay tuned. We'll have more episodes coming up. If you have any questions, please send them through, make comments, make sure you like the videos and subscribe and share them only with people that you like, please. We'll look forward to seeing you next time. I am Solomon.
And I'm Pius Mushiri, and this is The Tea.